All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to News from the Pew. Beautiful August 7th, 2025. I hope everybody had a good week. We are here. We have things to discuss. I am Rick Barrett. I'm the host of Rickcast Reviews, and a bunch of other stuff that is out there on the internet. And with me, as always, is the one and the only godfather of Catholic alternative media and Catholic YouTube, Mr. Steve Cunningham. How are you, sir?
I was doing good until I just saw that Steve Bannon is planning to run for president.
No, I know.
It's
That's why I
like
got my little Bannon for POTUS sign up there. So
I
it
didn't
is.
see that. It's too
It,
small. I
it,
saw
it's
that
hard to
like
see with a little bit of the glare. Let me see if I can knock that down. Yeah, I mean, it's a logical conclusion. It's a logical conclusion if Steve Bannon run for president.
I mean he's not
So
challenging the crown unless the crown wants to run in 2028, which I don't know. I just saw that going. You asked me and I'm going, well, I just saw that. So
well, I mean, I don't know what this means. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. This has to be better. We've been better for a long time. I don't even know what our episodes are, and I don't know the status of AV. So no shade to the guys over there. We just do our own thing and talk about stuff. So
I had to think what was AB for a second. I was like
yeah,
Antonio Bryant because
yeah,
that
right.
he was AB
But
for the Steelers for a while.
yeah,
Sorry.
so COG, welcome. I mean, thanks for having us. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Don't
But
worry, it'll get worse.
well, yeah, oh yeah, we'll get really bad. So I don't know if there's any escaping it.
We
Uh,
smile, but I gotta. Everyone says I'm Mr. Black Pill. Black Pill Monday. That's what they're calling my new clown planet on Monday. Black Pill Monday.
well, the problem is that Steve, now that Steve does a clown planet or a show 5 days a week talking about the news, he realizes how much of a cesspool of just awfulness the daily news can be.
I've
Why
been
are you
able
so
to get it
jaded when you do
under.
your show? Because by day 4, I'm ready to just throw myself out a window talking about the same stuff.
If it wasn't a cap, it wasn't putting on the Catholic show. I probably would try to do that just for acting wise. You would see me like move from like in Major League Harry Doyle, kind of nicely dressed on Monday, gradually goes a white beater on by Wednesday. He's in the bag by Friday. It's just
Ah, pulling your hair out like Tommy Boy. But
thankfully I learned not to cuss years ago because there's a couple times I just would love just to just drop something like this. What the heck?
yeah, no, that absolutely it's pretty funny what doing a daily news show is just it's crazy. And
It only takes about
we'll try to distill it down, guys, for the highlights and just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. The show is not to black pill you, it's not to make you afraid, it's not to make you any of this stuff. It's to give you an idea of what's going on in a fallen world. The world is fallen, stuff is happening. We try to give you an idea of stuff that other people will talk about in like 3 or 4 months. We usually kind of tap into it.
I try to make some light out of it, make some jokes, kind of
Yeah.
make some memes up because it's gonna get it's bad. It's bad out there. It's gonna
It's,
get worse
it's
too.
bad.
Uh,
It's bad, McCoy. Especially with
Man, I wish I could watch some South Park. That thing would be hilarious right now.
and the crazy thing is the way people are reacting to it. They're like, "Oh, you can't make fun of Trump, and it's so they're not relevant anymore." Shut up! It's South Park. They make fun of everybody. If you can't, and this is why conservatives are losers, is because they cheer when somebody like South Park makes fun of whatever, and as soon as they get made fun of, they cry like, "Oh, you can't make fun of that." Shut up! Just laugh along with it because that's all that it is. They're just making fun
Speaking
of everybody. They're a bunch of heathens. Let them be heathens.
speaking of that, here's a little bit of
Puppy shooting, face melting ice villain. Well,
what's
she's a
even
puppy shooting.
funnier is that the ICE X account used that photo to promote themselves. So South Park retweeted goes, "Are we relevant now?"
Yep, absolutely. Um,
But they uh oh, I would click it, but I'm scared what will come on.
no, yeah, I wouldn't. They're
There it is.
they're absolutely going as intense as possible with all of this.
It was the join ice.gov, and it's so we're relevant now.
Yeah, right. Because 2 weeks ago you had Trump and all of them. They're not relevant show anymore, and now it's like, well, I guess we are. Yeah, I guess we are again. So
they had DJT and JD. JD's a little leprechaun like.
He's like Ricardo Montalban, I think, from the plane. So if that's Ricardo, I don't know if I might be getting my 70 stars mixed up, but
the plane, boss, the plane,
boss, the plane, which is actually very appropriate for JD Vance. So
the only thing I would have done different for them is they changed Saddam Hussein and DJT, and the whole Saddam Hussein in the movie, the original, the feature film. I would have made it like Peter Thiel or Bibby. Why? Oh, the hell he didn't do Bibby.
Yeah, but there's only so many. That's only so far they go.
I mean, they say that I used to watch them from the beginning, long ago back in the day before. Now, when I came back in, I couldn't watch anymore because obviously. But I mean, I saw the movies. I saw Team America. I saw all the originals. And we're until when they got to the up to date to something happens and they had a show 2 days later on whatever happened on Monday. They had
their work schedule is incredible. They from concept to show is 5 days.
Oh yeah. You
got to give them credit for that. The from concept to show, voice acting, dialogue, everything. 5. I mean, that's crazy.
So yeah, they're. I mean, I think one of them is Jewish. The one with the hair.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that he won't do it.
Trey Parker, I believe.
Trey Parker's the blonde.
Matt Stone and
one of them is. So I'm pretty sure, but it's not like they're scared to say it. I'm surprised they just didn't do it.
Yeah, it is interesting what they choose and what they're choosing to focus on.
But apparently left Charlie Kirk in a good light, I guess.
Well, no, Charlie Kirk, and we know if you watch this show, I'm not a fan of him. He was at least smart enough to put the Cartman as his profile picture.
Oh yeah, that was great. I'd be jacked if they Cartman.
So hold on a second. True Waffle House Truth and Reconciliation Commission. When the time comes, Waffle House will be the staging ground. I will tell you that much.
Back in the day, they used to, for the founders, they would say to the Raleigh. Now it's to the Waffle House.
In 2025, it's to the Waffle House because the Waffle House, A, it's built for fighting, and B, it's always open. So
there was a meme. Did I send that to you? No. I think it was. I think I saw it on Facebook. It was went to Waffle House, lost 2 hours of my life, came out with a black guy, a new girlfriend.
That's funny.
But the waitress said I held my own.
but they respect me now.
Came in for waffles, left with a black guy, new girlfriend, and lost $100.
Well, the Waffle House is the proving ground. You must get through there in order to continue on. But yeah, the whole thing with South Park is that they make fun of everybody, and if you can't handle it, then you just don't watch it and shut up. Because the more you complain, the more they're going to double down on it. Because like you and I said, they already their timeline is 5 days. So whatever the reaction is to the first episode, they're just going to make fun of it in the next one.
It's like if you ever been to a comedy house. If you sit in a certain section or you get up to move, you give any kind of attention, it rains double down, triple down, quadruple down on you.
Fire. So it's interesting in that regard what's going on there.
I have no idea. I ain't watched it since I left, but I did see I saw a great meme of Mean Gene. I'll tell you something, Mean Gene. I got some mean jeans.
I mean, the whole thing with Sydney Sweeney and the jeans thing, it's not great because we're just celebrating heterosexual debauchery and degeneracy and instead of homosexual. So it's not like it's an improvement. And B, I did take a mulligan because I thought she was going to apologize after Trump endorsed her commercial, and she's stayed pretty quiet. So I mean, she must be getting a ton of money from that company. She must be
Oh,
just
she's making a rain right now. She was, I
yeah.
think she saw she threw out the first pitch of the Red Sox game, and
Yeah, she got
like you said, it's eye candy thing. It's we're the one side's going, hey, look at this. The other guy's going, no, 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 and it got a mountain blew out of a molehill, and then everyone's trying to. It's like those the conservative swimsuit calendar that they came out with like
oh,
years ago.
oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yep, I remember that for a while.
So I mean, it's just like they know what gets people, so they're going to throw eye candy out there. Well, you brought up we're starting off with entertainment, I guess, for people that can't take jokes. I mean, one guy lost his job and can't take any jokes.
Yeah, and this is the latest casualty of COVID, I would have to say, because he was kind of going downhill a little bit with Trump's first term. But then when COVID hit, he fled to his house in the Hamptons. He did like 3 shows a week, and he complained about COVID every single day. And he wanted people who didn't get the jab cough thing to die. And it's like, Steve, you cannot be a 71-year-old shock jock. And he never transitioned away from being it. And that's the problem. He could have transitioned to not be a shock jock, just be a guy who talks about stuff. People will still listen to his takes, but he just never could get out of that mindset. And it's hard when you have 20 years of being an outcast and a troublemaker with the history and the clips and the stuff he said, and then try to turn around and make the moral high ground argument. It just doesn't work. And that was his problem.
When you drop morals for your better part of your life, and all of a sudden you picked it up just because of no reason.
Because of Trump.
Everyone else, they're terrible people.
So yeah, Lou, he is gross.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't get out of it. And so you're 71 years old. You're now a dirty old man.
And on top of that, how many people are doing it on just YouTube and not getting paid $100 million salary like he's getting? I mean, people doing that on just ESPN. It was the whole thing with Pat McAfee. Yeah, and he's probably making more on YouTube than he was at ESPN. Hence why ESPN and WWE just merged together. They bought the rights to WWE. But yeah, I mean, Stern, you talk about being irrelevant. At least South Park can at least continue to move and come up. Howard, he has nothing. The only thing he can do, I mean, shoot, I haven't listened to it. I was in junior college, I think, last time I listened to one of his stuff because I was in college.
Yeah. Now, he was revolutionary with Sirius. Obviously, it was a match, perfect place, perfect time with him and Sirius kind of coming together.
Yep.
But outside of that, yeah, Sirius is irrelevant. The only people who listen to Sirius are people who get cars and have that mandatory 6-month free trial. And as soon as it stops, nobody uses it anymore. Yeah, because YouTube has supplanted all of it. And podcasts have supplanted. If you're looking for gross takeout, there's plenty of podcasts and plenty of, I mean, for lack of a better term, you guys can rake me over the coal. Like Steven Crowder is essentially does the same shtick that Stern does, just conservative light.
Yeah,
so you can get all of that, and you can get it to the flavor that you want. And that's
not hard to be raunchy and gross. It's easy.
Yeah, it's the lowest common denominator. It's not any talent to do so. And so it's it's COG. He always had, and that was his thing. He always had that take. People listened to him because they wanted, for some masochistic reason, they wanted to hear what kind of gross, dirty stuff he said.
Yeah,
people get tired of it though.
Yeah, after a while, you move on. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea of porn anyways. You start with one and you need more, you need more, you need more, you need more. The other stuff doesn't satisfy you anymore. So the same thing with Howard. He had to keep going and going and going. You say it's 70-something years old. How do you keep that going to 80, 90? No, you can't do that.
No. I mean, plus any shtick you do, he's been doing it for the better part of his life. You just get tired of doing it. Unless you evolve. That's why, when you're younger and your favorite band does like an experimental album and you go, this experimental is stupid. Now you're older. You're like, I get it, because you guys are playing the same style of music for 15 years and you just wanted to do something different. You'll go back to the stuff that makes you money. It's just you want to do something different every once in a while. And
I think
I
it's kind of like that with the S&M, the Symphony CD.
Yep.
Some of that worked. I liked some of it. Some of it worked.
Yep. Or like when Dave Matthews did a solo album and he just brought on all these people. I mean, it was the same stuff he did. It was just with different people.
Yeah.
So yes, folks, big spoiler alert. Rick Barrett was a huge Dave Matthews Band guy in high school and in college. I was that guy. Sorry.
Well, see you. Thanks, Tony.
Boo. I listened to other stuff.
No, it was funny. My brother and I were in,
hey man,
we're in the cafeteria at high school one time, and we're unbeknownst to either of us, someone brought up about Dave Matthews. I think we both stood up at our table and went, "I do not like Dave Matthews." They were the only ones in a 1,400 school, person school that didn't like Dave Matthews at that time. It was you either liked it or you were excommunicated from life.
Yeah, I liked him. I mean,
my cousin was a big fan too. Now I don't mind him.
Yeah, as you get older,
it's that good old rebel thing. Anytime that wherever the grain is going, I like going against it.
Yeah, yeah. I tend to do that too. But with him, I was just like, So but yes, you have your things you do, the things that butter your bread. But when you're somebody like Stern, you never evolve, you never change, you can't do anything. You're put in a box. I think the reason why a show was canceled is that they were like, we're not giving you 100 million. You know what? Mr. Jones and me, baby. Mr. Jones and me.
Mr. Jones by conversation.
Staring at the radio. I don't care. I wasn't one of these guys who was like, I listen to indie pop.
Mr.
Rick
Jones and me, man.
I was MTV Countdown kind of kid. I was watching MTV Video Music Countdown. So
we were always trying to figure out who's number one. And
I ain't gonna apologize for that, man. My musical tastes are probably blah, and that's okay. It is what it is. I fully embrace.
Luke's heard me singing Black Sabbath on the Clown Planet show. I've been so that's what you get. If you give me a Rick on there, sometimes I'll bust into song when I'm reading the article.
So I don't even want. What is that?
I call the war like when we get into Israel and all that. I go now for our War Pigs edition. Going back to General acting at their masses.
I mean, I am not going to apologize for my musical taste because it is terrible. It just is. I'll own it.
Some people, I might scandalize some people. Something I'm putting videos together and I'm doing this. And even with sometimes an energy drink, sometimes I don't get a lot of sleep sometimes. And I'll have to crank up. Maybe I'll put on Disturbed Silence or Metallica something and just give me alive again. And then I'm back at it. So
yeah.
I sent you the War Pigs when who was it?
T-Pain. It was T-Pain.
T-Pain did the remix.
He did a great one. It was just fantastic.
That was great.
Amazing. Which is kind of crazy because T-Pain was the master of the auto-tune. And it was like, you didn't need that?
Yeah, that was solid. That was great. Yep. And sometimes I'll turn on, if I want to, I'll turn on the music videos and just relax and make sure it's good. It's usually like the 80s or 70s videos. And my wife will like, what is wrong with you? Because I know all these.
Yeah.
Like those, just Run DMC or anything like that. Or I'll start singing the VeggieTales songs in the car and with the kids. She'll look at me like, what is wrong with you?
Hey, that's what dads do. Enjoy it. Revel in it.
Yes.
Yep. And that is what it is. So I'm sure you heard, we're just kind of wrapping up the idea that Howard Stern he was apparently offered 20 million instead of his 100 million. He's like, I'm not signing that. So they just shut off that spout. Now the big thing is you know why he doesn't care? Because the series is probably just going to buy his library and just play. They're going to have a Howard Stern channel and he'll make money off of that for the rest.
That'd be a great idea if they did that. That's the only way they could do it. And he'll make money and do nothing.
That's what I read in the article. I think it was from Variety yesterday. They were talking about the big discussion is not his contract.
What's up?
My wife, I've never seen an episode of VeggieTales, and we were driving down to Houston one time. She goes, "Do you remember the VeggieTales before?" I was like, "Honey, I've never seen it." She goes, "Oh, it was some dark times back in the day. It was some bad VeggieTales back in the day." But yeah, no, Stern was an acquired taste, and you can kind of see the just society in itself is kind of moving on from people like him. And the reason why it is because we become so compartmentalized. Everybody has their silo. If you want to listen to Catholic talk, you got your silo. If you want to listen to political stuff, you got your silo. You can just go into it all day and not have to listen to another person or another thing that you don't want to. You don't even have to worry about it. You can set your playlist, based on the channels you watch, and just go with it. And it's a different.
No, they say if you want to keep the AI off your butt and try to kind of play like a ninja to get off the thing, throw some playlists or a podcast that you wouldn't listen to and just play it for a minute just to get them into your history or whatever, and the AI will be like, "What's wrong with this guy?" All right, we'll move it on. But if you keep on like conservative, because whatever, depending on what it is, the same guy over, you're on their watch list. But if you throw them some curveballs, it'll screw up the AI.
So that's why you guys should listen to News from the Pew.
Because we'll
help you get off the AI list.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know. I'm probably on a list.
Yeah, no, we are definitely on a list. There's no doubt about that. But
whenever they pass we're going to shut everything Israel off, I got to come out and take about 300 videos off of the channel if we're done.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, so Alex, let's take a quick second here. Alex asked us a serious question, so we'll give him what are my top sources for Catholic news following the events of the Catholic Church? Steve, I'm not kissing butt, but Steve is. I mean, he usually talks about this stuff. We'll talk about it back and forth. And usually Steve's response is, "I don't care." And so I kind of just follow what Steve does. Now, officially, like LifeSite, because LifeSite, I follow them on X. So I'll, when something happens in the church, it'll pop up on their feed and I'll catch them. And then there's a couple people I'll talk to behind the scenes. So I don't really have a news outlet I go to. I guess LifeSite would be my default answer. Just because I follow them on X and they pop up when stuff happens. Steve, I don't know if you have anybody in particular that
I have priest friends, and if they send me a link, I'll look at it. Outside of that, I don't even look. I don't go fishing for it. If they said they send me a link, I don't care whatever link they like. If they like it, my thing was when back when I was at Prince of Peace in Greer, people would ask me what would you read blog wise. I said, well, if my priest he was on Facebook. If he shares something, I'll look at it. But if he doesn't, I ain't looking at it, because he was legit, had the mindset, focus, don't get distracted type deal things. And I tried not to watch. I mentioned it. Somebody talked about, there were guys are upset at Lofton for going out to the Vatican.
Oh, for being an influencer. I hear, before you continue, every single one of those guys that were mad at Lofton would have done the exact same thing.
They would have been there before everyone else got there. They would have asked, how can I go? They've been there for 2 weeks, done the exact same thing, probably done 3 times the amount of videos, taking photos of everything they ate, drank, and the straw they used, all that stuff.
Yeah. So, and you know what? I wouldn't have doubted them, and I wouldn't have faulted them for doing it either. I would just say that much. And
the weird thing about me, I would have never done one. I would have forgotten to do it because I'm not that mindset. I mean, I started a garden channel, right? And you look on, there's probably about 30 videos, I think, maybe 15. And most of the time I go out there and I'm walking back in going, I forgot to record that. And I'm walking in with a bunch of peppers or something. Well, that would have been a great little educational film. I'm the one that will go out there and just go see and be in the mode, in the line of sight, and in the experience, and not whip out a cell to look through. Like, you see all the people selling with Leo in the back. I would have never done that. I would have been like, hey man, whatever I can do. I keep my hands free playing with the kids. I never think about that stuff. Like Sundays, never check out X. I don't look at a computer because when I'm here, It's
That's all you're
tempting
doing.
because I'm uploading, and it takes about 5 minutes or so for a video to upload. And in the meantime, I'm checking news out. So I do check, you'll see me on there a lot, but Sundays, I don't even touch the darn thing, and it's great. You don't even think about it. You see how many other people are always can't detach. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, unless a priest sends it to me, church news wise, I mean, I don't want to say I don't care. I do not care. It's something I cannot control outside of becoming. I mean, there was somebody that said something that Leo did the other day or something. I go, how does that affect me right now?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Now, if it
Yep.
lets you affect yourself, you get negative about it, then you start going down, 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 down. Then you listen to guys that are complete wackadoos. But no, but the whole point of it was, so they were talking. Someone was upset about Lofton, and they bring up something about, no, it was Joe. Joe did a show, McLean, and it was talking about, is this going to mess up Catholic media? I'm going, can't mess up something that's already messed up. Most of it
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah.
Most of it's just a bunch of guys that are ticked off at everyone, trashing, name calling, things like that. How do you make that worse? You can't. It's already messed up.
So Substack is a great place. I know our friend John Arrington has a great, he hits that from time to time. Diane Montenega, the Vatican reporter, I follow her on Substack. Honestly, I think Alex, probably the answer to my question would probably be Substack. Would be a great place. There's a Desert Catholic. Steve got me hooked into him. I think Substack doesn't do shows, but their posts, the people that put stuff on there, I really like a lot of the guys and gals that are on Substack. That's, if I'm looking for a deep dive on an issue, I can find it from one of those over there, and they're usually pretty nuanced and pretty well thought out over there, and I can get different opinions on stuff for that. And this is not I'm not throwing shade. I know people think I don't watch any of the Catholic media shows. Like, I will say every once in a great while, I may watch like Anthony Stein for a video or two if he catches me with a thumbnail. If he catches me with a catchy thumbnail. But outside of that,
I haven't listened to his stuff, and
that's not. Yeah, I don't. It's not a dig on any of the Catholic people. I hope they, do whatever they want to do with their stuff. I just don't watch it. I just, because Steve, and this is Steve's influence. It's just like, okay, well, they're talking. I will say this. I'm in a group on X that of like Christian Catholic podcasts, and there was a person when John Henry Wesson was supposedly kicked out of LifeSite. This dude was losing his mind. What are we gonna do? How can we do? And I responded to him. I said, what is being mad going to do about it? And he's like, well, we're just gonna sit by and do nothing. Well, the thing you do is if you like John Henry Wesson, if he starts something else, you support him over there. You don't freak out about him getting kicked out of that place. Your anger doesn't do, our righteous indignation doesn't do it. And now I know there are reports and rumors that there are Vatican officials. I've had priest friends tell me that Vatican officials watch YouTube content. So, it is what it is in that regard. I'm not saying if you watch any of those guys, AB, Marshall, Tim Gordon, cool, man. That's cool. Do what you got to do. I just don't, because for me, I don't like to, and I think I said this on my show. For a couple days, the coverage on Leo the 14th was so bad, I actually started losing the enthusiasm and love that I had for him when he was announced. I'm like, I got to stop watching this stuff, because I'm not going to let them impact how excited and how much I really love what the Holy Father's doing right now. So that's just me. That's what I do.
I don't listen to if someone asks what Catholic podcast to listen to, none. I put my stuff up and I go read a book, play with the kids, do other things. Like I said, if a priest sends me something about something on the bag and what goes on in the church, that's just because he sent it to me. I didn't say I'll click it to read it.
Yeah. Now,
really, I mean, it's kind of like the cadaver sent it. I mean, I know of it, but it didn't affect me at all. So, I mean, we'll talk about it. But when I used to be on the rundown, when I did that, when I had the show with them, would they bring up stuff like that? I was like, don't care. I don't know anything about it. Don't care to learn, but know about it. It doesn't matter to me. So let's move on. Now, politics stuff wise, I can talk about that.
Yeah.
We can do something about that.
That's the thing. And I always like to repeat a line that Steve has said to me. And this is not me brown nosing to Steve. It's just Steve's been in the game a lot longer than I have. And, I definitely take his advice when he tells me people have gone to hell under great popes and people have gotten to heaven under bad popes.
Mhm.
And if you look at it that way, you do what you do. And if you want to watch those guys, cool. If you don't, I don't. Not because I hate them. It's just that it's not my thing. It's not my thing. If I have questions, I'm blessed. I can talk to Steve. I can talk to Jonathan Arrington. I've got a priest friend of mine I can talk to if I have questions about anything in the faith. So I'm pretty well covered if I have a question on stuff like that. And that's why I think you guys, if you're on Substack, subscribe to Jonathan Arrington. Doesn't post a lot, but when he does post, it's like a theological knockout. Every time the guy hits, you'll have enough in one of his posts to digest for months.
If you need something translated to, he knows 7 languages. So I asked him, "Hey man, what's this about?" And he'll tell me.
So I hope that helps, Alex. We're definitely not here to throw shade.
Here's one for you that you didn't hear anything in the podcast because I was just reading it from if anybody's ever heard of the book The Forgotten. No one's probably ever read it because they don't know about it. Now, because I've told many people, so you got to get this. And they're like, what is that? It's about the Catholics in Russia. The reason why Cogs brought up Our Lady of Fatima made me think of that. The week that Our Lady asked for the consecration of Russia in 1929, that week, Russia stopped ringing all the bells for the churches. And Father Zugler brings that up in there. He goes, maybe that was the reason why Our Lady comes up and asks for that request from that. Because he said, Zugler brings up, he goes, during Easter, his quote, a person could go deaf with the amount of bells that were going out on Russia on Easter. All of a sudden, Lenin takes away the bells. Stalin takes away the bells. Lenin takes away the bells. And he goes, all of a sudden, now the consecration of Russia request happens. And he comes from a Byzantine, he's a Byzantine priest in Albuquerque. And it is amazing, literally, about what those guys, and it's both sides, East and West, united in that. They were both getting hammered.
Yeah.
But it's a cool, the book itself is an assault weapon. It's that thick. You hit somebody with it, you might knock them out. But it was just when he brought up Our Lady of Fatima, I remember reading that and going, that was pretty cool.
My thing's dead. So yeah, that's kind of our long-winded response to the question. Discern, listen to who you want to listen to, and maybe it's a good idea. Somebody up said somewhere between angry trads and aging boomers. You might want to watch one of each and then come up to your own conclusion. If that's, it's kind of like, if you want to think about it this way, and then I swear Steve will move on. The idea of don't get all your news from right-wing sources and don't get all your news from left-wing sources. Maybe watch one and one of the other, and because the truth is somewhere in the middle. So
that was the Denzel line. If you're listening to media, you're getting misinformed. If you don't listen to it, you're ill-informed. Yeah. So where do you go? And then even like I'll say, or I get it from Ryan Christian, the Vagabond, going question everything, and then don't even, don't believe me. Here's the thing. Here's the evidence. Go seek it out yourself and see if it's right or not. But a lot of people like just to take everything in and say, hey, fact. Oh, that guy said it. Well, just like Gunther today reposted a video by RFKJ. Well, you thought it was RFKJ. I sent it to you, Rick.
Yeah, he did. The conspiracy.
He goes in. He goes a couple seconds in. He's like, the conspiracy theorists were right. The mRNA did this and this and this, and made people gay. And Gunther reposted, going 100%, 100%. The dude didn't even click it. It's an AI generated video, but it looks good. So some people don't even click, and they just retweet without even looking.
Yeah. Yep. Especially in the age of AI, man, you got to be careful with all that stuff. You got to be careful with all of that stuff.
It looks good too. Speaking of AI,
look at that. That's what we call a transition, folks. And that's what we call a seamless transition.
Well, that's almost seamless.
As soon as Steve does it. Oh, this thing. Jim Acosta is a person that is doing everything he can to ensure that when he meets the 4 final things, it's not going to be a good day for him. This is the most disgusting thing I have seen in a while, and it reeks of desperation. So Jim Acosta quote unquote interviewed one of the teens that died at the Parkland shooting. Now, his parents, and I'll say this, I understand why the parents did it, because the parents are still grieving over the loss of their kid. No parents ever have to bury their kid. And this is how they're trying to just keep them alive, even though it's demonic and evil. So they rebuilt it, and this is how he would look now. And if you want to actually play some of the voice, Steve, if you can, it is, folks, it is awful. It is terrible how this
I'll pull it down. I didn't think about it,
but
yeah, Tina, where did the bells go? They didn't take them down. They just forced them not to play him anymore, or if they did play him, they would be flown to Siberia, executed somehow. I mean, it was illegal to do.
There's an interesting theory when you think of the bells. Along with Russia, all of Europe, the bells stopped after the Great War in World War II. And you see what's going on in Europe without, I mean, yes, there are still bells that ring, but not to the degree that it was beforehand.
They made it illegal to go to liturgy, go to mass, the catechism, if you were caught having mass in the underground, even
the priest
could have been executed, thrown in a paddy wagon. Pretty much, they were in one prison. They said was like sardines. So priests were all thrown in there like sardines, kind of like the Alcatraz Island right now, where they have that in those
alligator Alcatraz,
elbowing each other right now. There was a story about a priest coming through a city, and it was Latin Rite priest, and he sees they arrested all the men in the city, and they're going to shoot him. They were going to shoot him in a pit, and he goes out and he was going to give him a general blessing and forgiveness. And it was the ego te vos. Right when you say vos, two people from each side slices off his arms because they're extended, and then the third one put a saber right through his chest. Goes in the pit. They shoot everybody else afterwards.
Yeah,
we had 40 bishops, I think, in the area. 8 weren't killed. It was when Zugler brings out, he calls it forgotten, because he goes, people know about what happened in Germany. They know about what happened here. They know about what happened here. Nobody knows what happened here. And man, I'm just a third way through. It is mind-blowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, yeah, they stopped the bells because it was religious. Their religion of communism is atheism. And they had the media playing about atheism. It was all about evangelization, atheism. Everything had to be atheistic, and you mock the priest, you mock the laity, you mock the religion. They did everything like that to try to kill the faith, and it still kept going.
Yeah.
So here's the AI.
Yeah. So yeah, this is gross. Just to
what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard. It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin.
Like, Jim, you're not fooling anybody. This is not fool. This is people are just looking at you like you are a terrible person for doing this. You're just an awful person for doing that. And the father came out and said, you guys don't understand it. Everybody needs to give the father a pass. He's still grieving for his kid. I get it. But Jim Acosta, you can't indulge that behavior. The problem, Steve, is a year from now, 2 years from now, you're not even gonna be able to tell the difference. You're not even going to be able to tell the difference on that kind of an interview. And it's going to be, and there are going to be people that are going to believe it. And that's a problem with the AI in general.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to pull up an AI video I made, just to let you know.
Steve Cunningham original, as they say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I put it on one of Ripperger's videos, and
are you starting to use AI on the?
Here's one. Not too shabby.
I mean, it's going to be undistinguishable at some point.
The melon is simply divine, is it not?
Indeed, my dear. The perfect refreshment for such a splendid day.
I was waiting for something, and I guess that's just me being terrible. But I'm like, Okay.
Oh, so I was putting together one, and he mentioned something about the perfection of trees of fruit, and I was like, let me make something like that. Antebellum, eating watermelon in a hot day.
Even
Bam.
even the AI was like, "Are you sure that's all you want to put in there?" Because as you know, Gronk and all the AIs, they're racist. They're just as racist as everybody else.
Did you see how much grok, how much energy is used for grok? Anybody time someone asks a question for grok, it's like a couple gallons of water needed.
That's why. Go.
No, go ahead.
That's why they need the water for the data centers.
Yeah, I think there was somebody asked grok how many. It's like 163 gallons or something like that per working hours. Is some astronomical number.
Yep.
So every time you hit grok, hey grok, that's how a couple gallons of water is needed just for that question.
Yeah. So thanks to all those people that tagged me in those "Hey Grok" replies that went, that was just awful. Like a week or two ago, that was just terrible stuff. But yeah, AI is awful. It's destructive to nature, which is crazy because the hippies used to say, "Save the planet." Now they're like, "Gronk, tell me how to save the planet." And say, well, after the gallons of water that are used for that, you can pretty much figure it out on your own, sucker.
Speaking of saving the planet, skeptics win. Endangerment finding acts. Truth finally prevails in the climate wars. This was a week ago. Today's decision by the EPA to remove carbon dioxide endangerment finding from 2009 represents a pivotal shift in America's approach to climate policy, one rooted in evidence, not ideology. And you can check this out. It has the 50-minute press conference that they had in Chicago. Major. Today's a monumental win. It's like, we win. And it's not over by any means of imagination, but I mean, still, it's good way. This is the endangerment of cause to contribute findings of greenhouse gases under Section 202A of the Clean Air Act. So now there is some still crazy town stuff going on. And who was it? Netherlands. They banned people walking in the woods.
Oh, I think it was it was Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia, that's it.
Nova Scotia did it, yeah.
You're banned walking in the woods, so you can't have a forest fire. So there's still crazy town up there. There's climate lockdown still going on. Canada's still crazy, but there is a little win right there. I'll take it.
Yep. Yeah, the tiny wins will absolutely take, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of wins lately coming out between a lot of the stuff that's coming out of the Trump administration, whether it's that you finally saw that what's happening to that girl at FSU, how the entire DOJ is just coming down on that girl because she supposedly assaulted, quote unquote, a kid wearing an IDF shirt. Now, I don't know if this girl's a raging libtard. Her hair isn't blue and she doesn't have a septum ring in her nose. So the jury's out. But this girl has had, the DOJ, the state, all these people just come down on her because she dared to touch a Jewish person. And it's crazy. There was I retweeted it. One of the guys said support for Trump is sharply dropping among men recently. And it's like, yeah, I'm one of these people that, I'm not like a MAGA supporter, but I'm kind of done with everything Trump is doing. And I had a couple people ask me, hey, why is your support, quote unquote, dropping for Trump? And I listed it out. And since I was completely ready and not at all, here it is. Somebody said, you're not supporting Trump? I said, this is no particular order. Israel's driving our foreign policy, no support for the Short Act and the NFA repeal, mandating IVF, tying FEMA to funding to supporting Israel. I don't know if we were going to talk about that tonight, where they had to run it back. But it's like, if you were a state that was boycotting Israel, you weren't getting FEMA funds. So if I lost my to a tornado, Trump was like, too bad, so sad. Make sure you go to the Wailing Wall. And then you get your FEMA funding. Supporting protecting illegals for farming jobs, which we'll talk about in a second, and his response to Epstein, which continues to, it's so bad that there are reports, Steve, that our favorite Peter Thiel disciple, J.D. Vance, is huddling with members of Trump's cabinet trying to figure out how they're going to get around this in 2028. It's like, you guys aren't. It's going to be a millstone around all y'all's necks because you promised too much. And now Pam Bondi just absolutely just kicked that thing all over the place. But you're right, James. There's this feeling that, and Trump's like, who is the latest Fox News celebrity? Oh yeah, by the way, the House Republicans are in recess. Steve, you're in recess so you can go back to your district. What did the Speaker of the House do? He flew to Israel and prayed to the Wailing Wall. And people are like, is this why we're not getting anything done now? Is like, what is this? And so, yeah, people are kind of sick. The latest Fox News lady said, today, she's like, we have a rash of anti-Semitism in the country. And everybody went, are you kidding me? You just got to, what? And so it's, people are just really looking at this the other way and saying, I don't know what your deal is, man. You guys get mad at us when you're like, well, AIPAC has outsized influence over the country. Yeah, here it is. She's like, there's a rash of anti-Semitism. It's like, you've been in the office for 35 seconds. This is part of the humiliation ritual that you have to do it, apparently. But, yeah. And then, Trump followed it up this week by going on CNBC and talking about how we need to have the special protection for the farmers because the farmers are the only ones that can do the farming job, Steve. Nobody else can do it. We need the farmers. If we don't have the farmers, we're not going to be able to farm. And people are like, bro, really? You're going to use the exact same lines that the left used on us? Hold on a second. I actually have the video from the farm, the farming thing. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. It's only a minute long. DJT.
With a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it? These are very, in many ways, they're very, very special people. Okay, go ahead.
Like, no, no, bad Trump, bad Trump. He pretty much. And so, yeah, if you're a person that voted for him because you thought you were going to get your mass deportations and all this kind of stuff, you just realize you've been had. Now, of course, he ordered the census to be redone today, counting only American, people who live in the union. If that goes through, that's a good Trump. But at the same time, it's like, you can't. I don't know, Steve. I don't know. I've been talking for too long.
No, yeah, from Epstein to now. I mean, what's going to happen is Ghislaine's going to get her pardon.
Oh, she's absolutely going to get one. Absolutely.
She's the kingpin, and she's going to walk away scot-free. P. Diddy's asking for a pardon. They're all going to ask for a pardon now. Who's going to go to jail? Us. We're the ones going to Alcatraz, or the new one in Indiana, the Speedway Slammer.
Yep.
And every state is looking to get one of those now. Who thought
Texas is? Texas is.
They're all going to get one. The Longhorn Lockdown or whatever.
Well, if you really want to put it out there, put it out in Scorpion Prison out in West Texas.
Yeah, you open up your door, you got a rattlesnake ready to get you. See, it's the whole thing. It's going to be like Indiana Jones around there, just scorpions and rattlers. You're not getting out unless you just get bit. Yeah, but the whole Epstein thing, it came out today, said the whole thing was BS. The other day it was a hoax and it was fake, and then it's not, and it's this, it's up, down, left, right. It's the Ellen DeGeneres. I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, out. What is it? And you always got the, what's his face, Jeffrey's other BFF next to him, and then you got Bassett, who's Soros' right-hand man, who we love Soros now because he's a MAGA guy. He's also gay with 2 kids, just like the Pete Buttigieg, but we're cool with this guy because he's
on our team. Yep.
And I mean and you look at quote unquote conservatives. Hey, this is what's going on in Alcatraz or El Salvador, where he wants to be ridden of presidential term limits, just like our guy wants to be eliminated. And our team is okay with that down there because he's our guy. He's a MAGA guy. And they're treating people like scum. Apparently now conservatives are all about raping, pillaging, and treating people inhumanely, no matter what. Fine. You want to get rid of people for being illegal? Fine. Do we have to sodomize them? I don't think that's us. Last I checked,
this is not Pulp Fiction.
But we're doing all kinds of crazy things. Yes, Lockhorn Lockdown does it. I want a nickel for every time.
You gotta copyright that sucker.
Now. I like that. I want a nickel for every time someone says that.
Yep.
But no, and then with the Israel thing, Benny wants to take over Gaza for the rest of humanity. He says it's not going to be that, but it will be. You got all the Congress critters out there. What Johansson was out there saying he's going to go home. But he went home. He went to go see his boss first. Sanders is out there too, and would go see his dad. And it's all yucky up the Bibi right now. Wow, he's killing people literally every blasted day.
By the way, this just in: IDF forces are reportedly taking positions along the Gaza border in preparation for a ground invasion. Mara Gaza is on the way, folks. Mara Gaza is happening.
That girl and the girl we brought this whole segment up with. What did she do? She went up to some guy, and I won't show you the video because she's showing someone who's number one and all that. But she saw a guy with an IDF shirt on and got mad. Not saying that's a good idea. I would probably see somebody with an IDF shirt right now and go, "Do you realize what they're doing?" And back, I don't know if I'd get face to face in their grill because that's not cool either. But he's probably not doing anything. He's here, and that guy was in FSU with her, and I guess she swiped or hit maybe his coffee or something like that. They're looking to put her in jail, federal crime, hate crime, and all this. Wait a minute.
Pam Bondi took time out to tweet about this girl.
Yeah.
And talk about how the DOJ is going to put down the full force of God upon her. It's like
nobody's been arrested for Epstein, but more people have been arrested for just talking about Israel.
Mm-hmm. Or deported. Remember the person in college that was talking about Gaza, and they were like, by the way, you're gone.
Yeah.
You're gone.
And that was the EO. Remember the EO that came in with DJT, once a future king, DJ Trump. This is the main thing. Judge Janine is talking about that. We got to crack down and send. We've played at least 50 videos of different people talking about cracking down on anti-Semitism. We're going to lock people. We're going to put them there. We're going to do this. I guarantee you're going to see more people being locked up in Alcatraz, the Speedway, and lockdown, Longhorn lockdown, all that, for just talking bad about Israel. You don't kiss the ring. And that thing with the whole thing about the national the funding, they ended up taking that out, I guess, the day after. Such an upcry. Do what?
No, it was just bad optics. I mean, it probably still exists. It's just an unwritten rule now.
Yeah, you're going to have to do it because there was I saw a link from 8 years ago. They did that then too. So it was somewhere in Texas, and they had to pretty much count out this town had to count out to most favored nation businesses, or they weren't going to get any funding. Which shouldn't get any funding from the feds anyways, but still. The whole thing is just nuts.
Yep,
absolutely. You go back to Epstein, you go P. Diddy, you get all this other stuff, but now they're going after the Clintons. I guess the Clintons are going to get subpoenas, so they're now going to go. They're wondering if they're going to go to prison if they don't, which guaranteed no one's going to go to jail. Spoiler alert: if somebody was going to go to jail, this whole Obama thing that they've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, since the quote unquote treason, what gets you treason? You get thrown in the paddy wagon. He hasn't been in jail. He's not going to be in jail. They're just going to talk about it for a few weeks because it's a great distraction for everything else. Like
Epstein.
Epstein's even a distraction. But even what's going on in Gaza, you're seeing not just a humanitarian crisis, an extermination of people, like a Holocaust in HD. And we're just like, what's,
Yep.
Hey, we got a female.
And it would have been complete silence, but the IDF couldn't help itself and shot the Catholic Church there. So
they didn't do that. It wouldn't be as loud right now. Yes.
Yeah.
You see General Flynn? He came out saying that it was an inside job October 7th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were talking about that for a while. Now people were starting to bring that, and that was on the War Room too. I'm like, Bannon, you're getting your nose out of the DJT.
Oh, did you see that? There was that post. Did you see Steve Bannon's Israeli first post?
No.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Are they getting a little tissel or something? I mean, I know Pasto's not going my way yet, but is Bannon and him getting a little tissel?
I don't know, but maybe Bannon's trying to, setting himself up to be the next there it is.
Yes, I did see
he posted that on Getter. He posted that on Getter. Israel first.
I did see that.
So that's a pretty big. I mean, it's noticed, folks. They can't run away from it. They can't run away, and that's the problem. Is that they can say you're anti-Semite, but more and more people are just noticing. Like, and I think a wake-up call is the Gaza thing. I think another wake-up call, as I said, is when Israel launched an attack on Iran and then ran to the United States and said, hey, you guys need to bomb them. And we were like, no, we're not going to do it. Okay, yeah, we'll do it. And it's just going, why are we doing what another country is telling us to do? And people don't, yeah, get out of here with that nonsense. I don't even want to hear it. It's
money.
Mm-hmm. Then it's that whole
Miriam Adelson right from the start, all those AI pack guys. But you remember Israel was the practice unit for Operation Warp Speed, which Trump comes out yesterday and talks about how great it was one of the greatest moments.
Yeah.
Operation Warp Speed. A lot of people push back on that, rightfully so, thankfully so. Israel was the first one. Israel was the test run for that. Ukraine has actually been online saying, we want to be a bigger version of Israel. Yeah, Israel is also just one of the 4IR. It's one of the places for it too. They're everything that we're dealing with, UBI, IAI, all that, Palantir.
Mm-hmm. JD Vance. Yeah, JD Vance is Palantir.
Well, the stuff they're using out there, Gotham, the Bible, the Gospel, Lavender, all that stuff is being used in Israel against Gaza, which here's the one link from it was last week. 10 billion, 10-year U.S. Army contract elevates Palantir to defense contract royalty. They've gotten 600% increase this quarter alone from all the government contracts.
Yeah, that's pretty much
fascism. There's a business in bed with the government. What is that called? We use that word all the time of last decade. No one knew what it was. Now it's literally happening. No one's bringing that up.
Because it's our team. We can't say anything negative about our team, Steve. Or the good guys that are in charge right now. Because there's so much winning.
When Trump says that JD will be the guy coming up next, only a few people probably saw that, saying that the technocratic presidency, you're looking to get Palantir in the executive now. It's already there in the executive and the VP and behind Trump, but now you're really getting, because he owns the guy that they want him in now.
M. Turs. Yes, Steve and I have been on record saying pray for Trump. We also were on record during Joe Biden, pray for Joe Biden. My question to you, and I say this as respectfully as possible because I have a reputation, what is truly different under Trump that you wouldn't have gotten under somebody under like Kamala? And I only ask you to think just really deeply on that, out besides the surface level things that you'll hear. I beg to say, like, maybe I don't think there's a huge amount of difference between the two. If I'm wrong,
doesn't know this. Bring up Stargate. Obama starts Stargate, hands it off to Brandon. Brandon, during his presidency, gives $100 million to it. Day one of the Trump administration, Stargate gets $500 million with OpenAI, open source, Google, all that stuff. Look it up. They just look at it. They're the same team.
Yep. Yeah, that's Peter. When I say the surface level stuff, I mean like taxes and the surface level things that you get. But like deeper levels of stuff, none of the stuff that, as Steve just said, that is in motion has stopped under Trump.
Yeah, Starlink is the different thing. Stargate is the RMA cancer jabs.
Yeah. Was
Starlink
that day 2? That was day 2 of that?
Day 2, day 1, whatever one, however wants to count. It's the first day.
One of the 7,000 executive orders that was dropped in the first 4 days.
The first full day. He had that big press conference.
Yeah, and that's all we're saying is don't get lost in the red versus blue team stuff. And I think
They want you
Tina said it correctly. Like if Trump was truly going to drain the swamp, it'd be drained. You're getting some surface level stuff, and that's why they're going after guys like Massey, who's like, hey, we borrowed $700 million last week. Like, what are we doing here? And Massey's not MAGA. He's this. Massey's Massey and Paul get enough crap because they're like, hey, can we not send Israel $1 gazillion and Ukraine like $1 gazillion and then talk about how egg prices are low, which they're really not, and gas is cheaper, which it's like maybe by 10 cents. It's just it's one of the things that people, and I understand why people would look at us like we're doom pilling or blackmailing. Oh, just enjoy Trump because we could have had Kamala. True, and there could have been some things that would have been worse, much, much worse under Kamala, but they're still happening. Now, I know you may cherry pick and say, well, at least it's not happening as bad. And I'll give you that. But the point is, it's just don't get lost in the red versus blue coverage because the stuff is still happening. It's still taking place. What's the statement, Steve? Conservatives are just Democrats. They're just liberals driving the speed limit. So,
yeah, I mean, and the transgender nonsense. Yes, that was the whole point of it.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying, Steve. Go.
That was the whole point of it. You had 8 years of Obama. People are about to get ticked off beyond ticked off after 8 years, and we're going to have Clinton after that. No, you throw in Trump to ease the steam out of the whistle right there.
A release valve
now, and you get 4 years and nothing changes. The thing keeps going the way it wants to go. You get some fun tweets. Everybody gets laughing, poke fun at the fake news and all that stuff. You get nothing. The war machine keeps on going. War pigs, baby. That still keeps on going. Remember, Trump bombed more people by himself in 4 years than Obama did in 8. And then obviously Trump is outdoing first Trump too right now. Then Brandon comes in and everything goes crazy town. You get the trans, you get this stuff, and that was meant to happen because it went so crazy. You're not thinking about all this other stuff, the AI stuff coming in, the technocratic world that was getting put in, not even the lockdowns anymore. You're all focused on this stuff, the straws, this, that. We don't even know what a guy is, what a girl is. It's cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. And then Trump comes in and you get winning. We're getting rid of girls playing in guy sports or guys playing in girl sports. We got, straws back. We got this coming back. We're like, hey, common sense is back. But what's going on? You're focused on that, what they want you to be mad and upset and okay about. In the meantime, we got ethnic cleansing going on. We got the technocratic state in hyper speed. Day one, Stargate. Again, look it up. You got J.D. Vance and the Peter Thiel connection with Palantir coming in and pretty much now all inside the military. You got Detachment 201 4 weeks ago, where technocrats came in and now are lieutenant colonels in the military. Running, the only people above them are colonels. And we got techno boroughs, as they say. Nobody's mentioned it. No one knows about it. You don't hear any of the cheerleaders. You don't see Fox talking about that. You don't see any of these guys talking about that. They focus on bad team blue, good team red. The Democrats are stupid, evil, horrible people. The GOP are a bunch of smart people, enlightened folks over here. And it switches up every 4 years, switches up every 4 years, switches up. They want you to give this guy. It's a WWE thing. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Off camera, they're best friends. On camera, they're mortal enemies. They had a thing about some guy coming up when Hulk died, about somebody coming out of the stands was going to jump on Hulk. And during the match, Triple H is supposed to be down and out. Triple H gets up, totally fine, gets up and beats the crud out of this guy.
Yep.
It's all fake. You're just getting you're getting shown what you wanted to see.
Yeah.
And it just, again, if you see somebody that's purely blue, purely red, question those guys. They're coming out of an angle already preconceived. They're wanting you to know, they're wanting you to parrot. Don't think, turn your brain off like that, the book. Turn off your mind. Just listen to what we tell you to do. These guys are bad. We're the good guys. Let us do everything we want you to do and don't question anything we do. Meanwhile, the CBDC is coming in. The digital ID is coming in. UBCs are coming in. The technocratic state from hell is coming in. But we got guys out of the girls' bathrooms, which shit, you're fine. That's great.
Yeah,
Shut
good.
Anyways.
Yeah, the surface level culture war stuff is easy to go back and forth on, and I get it. If you have a daughter and they're in this stuff, I would be focused on that too, because it's an absolute disgrace and it shouldn't happen. But I mean, I shared something with Steve earlier in the week. Mexico is already starting to implement all the biotech nonsense with their certain tribe of a president, and the fact of the matter is
the non-Mexican Jewish president. I'll say it.
Yeah. So it's just, this stuff is coming, and too many people are blinded. I mean, when you get Steve Bannon questioning this stuff, that's how you know that
last week the healthcare thing.
Yeah,
we're putting all healthcare on the digital thing. Get your app. We got this fat lady coming in. Is the pure bill of health again, just like the last one overseas. Here's some big we know what health is. You're looking at some lady there that hasn't done a sit-up in 10, 15 years. Is going to tell you what health is. Oh, we got to get you on the app so we can have all your data collected, and you can scan it just like you get on a plane. Nobody, and no one's bringing that at the end. Detachment 201, the healthcare thing last week. But again, you'll see that we're winning. Like
golden age. We're in the golden age.
Trump's
going to build a 200 million. He's not with taxpayer dollars. It's going to take 3 years for them to build a ballroom in the East Wing. It took who was the guy after Roosevelt? He escapes my mind. Who was the president after Roosevelt?
Ike?
No, the one right after him. Truman. It took Truman 3 years to redo the entire White House. And it's going to take Trump 3 years to build a ballroom. That just tells you the inefficiency and things that are happening right now. And these are the things that they're focused on. We got to build a ballroom because right now in state, we have them in tents outside. Okay, they keep having them in tents outside. I don't want you to spend time and energy rebuilding the White House.
They get the aristocracy back up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's this idea that we have to continue to make the palace for our elected king as grand as possible.
Hunger Games, baby. Get the Capitol.
Yeah. So
even though the Capitol's on fire with all the problems they got going on, we're going to federalize that, bring the National Guard in, turn that into a police state.
Yeah, and people are cheering it. They're like, yeah, law and order. We want to make sure it's safe for people. You realize that the federalization of anything is a terrible idea. Federalization, if you get anything from this show, is the last thing you want from anything. The feds are never a solution to anything. So it's absolutely oh, this is just in too. The Israeli Security Cabinet approves Netanyahu's plan for the occupation of Gaza City. So that's happening fast and furious.
A lot of people die in the next 24 hours.
By Saturday, there's going to be a full-scale conflict. Even like not even playing around, not even faking it anymore.
Even Trump's come out saying there's not anybody starving in Gaza.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's okay. But let's we talked about this. Let's move on because we do have a couple of other things that we'll talk about. Let's talk about local politics, Trump related. So here in Texas, we have redistricting because when your party's in power, you redistrict. Look at Chicago, look at Illinois, New York, Maryland. They do it too. And so it's redistricted that we get 5 here in the state of Texas, 5 more seats. Jasmine Crockett's seat would be redistricted out. So in Texas, you need 2/3 of the members in the Texas House in order to push bills through. Then the Democrats decided that they were going to fly to Illinois and to fly to New York to break the quorum to make sure that they couldn't get the 2/3 majority. So this week you had Ken Paxton come out earlier in the week and say, listen, if you guys don't show up by Friday, I've written an opinion that you should all get your seats vacated. Greg Abbott has petitioned the Texas Supreme Court to validate that opinion, because a quorum is not designed. The quorum, you're not allowed to break quorum to stop a vote. You can, if you cannot show up because of like acts of God or something happened to your family, like that's why you don't show up to vote in the Capitol. You don't vote. You don't do this to break quorum. And so the Speaker of the House here in Texas put out, warrants for these guys to bring them back. And, a couple of Democrats have already come in. And today, Greg Abbott made the point that he is now going to be marshaling or he's going to be working with the feds.
What we're doing. One is we have arrest warrants out for all of them. If there are some in Texas, which I understand that there may be, the Texas Department of Public Safety is searching for them, will find them, will arrest them and take them to the Texas Capitol. Those who are out of state think that they are beyond the reach of Texas law enforcement, and that they may or may not be. But for one, when they come back, they're not going to go to their cozy home. They will be arrested and taken to the Capitol. But know this, it's my understanding that the FBI is going to search for these derelict Texas House members in whatever state they may be in and help identify for them and maybe work with us to bring them back. Point one. Point two is these Democrats, they have received money and benefits at their request to support them while they are gone. It is a direct violation of the Texas Constitution as well as Texas bribery laws for them to receive a benefit to skip a vote. They could be charged with second-degree felony for committing bribery in the state of Texas. Third, and it happened yesterday, I filed a petition in the Texas Supreme Court that begins the removal process of these absconding Democrat members. And the Supreme Court responded immediately last night and told the leading Democrat in this cause, his name is Gene Wu, that he has to respond to my petition by Friday, where we're going to begin the process of trying to remove these absconding Democrats from office.
So that's the latest on what's going on here in Texas. I, for one, am happy to see Republicans at least try to step up and say, listen, you have to come in. Your Lord and Savior Barack Obama to the Democratic Party. Elections have consequences. Y'all lost here in Texas. They get to do it. You can't run away because you don't like it. So, and here's the thing, Steve, you cut the head off of the snake. If you remove Wu from his seat, the rest of them will come crawling back like cockroaches, because they care about their position and they care about their seat more than any kind of principle. Because they all think they're going to be governor. They all think they're going to be the next senator. They all think they're going to be in some cabinet. So I like the move. And don't get it wrong. The only reason that Republicans are being this aggressive is Ken Paxton is in an election year with John Cornyn, and he's trying to show that he's a tough conservative. And Greg Abbott, I have a feeling he's going to toss his hat into the 2028 Democratic the Republican for president, so he's got to be tough as well. So this is setting the stage for stuff like that as well. But this is an example of local politics, guys, why local politics matter. And that's why, whatever they do in DC, Texas can redistrict itself to get 5 more Republican seats, so we get good Catholic honest people to run for those seats so they can do that. But that's how it should work. You should be focusing at the local level. These fights need to happen at the local level so you can keep your state to the values you agree to, and not let liberals come in and run around and be like Nancy Mace and get elected and become your next governor. And that, I couldn't help it. I had to say, every time Steve gets so mad when I say, but I am, for one, I'm in favor of what Abbott's doing. I just hope they have a spine to take it all the way through.
I can't add anything to that. Yes, states can do whatever they want. The state thing, Texas wants to do that. Texas has all the power and right to do that.
Yep. I mean, if you look at it, was funny. The governor of Massachusetts said, well, we're going to redistrict our seats so there's no Republicans. And then they showed a map. New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, there is not a Republican chair in any of those states. So it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, why bother?
It's an empty threat. You know, hateful Kate in New York. We're going to redistrict ours. The only seat you have is upstate New York because you don't care about any of those people. And it's just, you know, they've been doing this for years. They've been doing this for decades. Gerrymandering is as old as these United States, right? The term comes from, wasn't it Jefferson's vice president?
Yeah. Shoot, when I ran for State House seat 75, South Carolina, across from me, I wanted to go against Clyburn, but his thing was right across the street. I was in 75. I think 74 was on the other. His thing was on the other side, and I mean, it was the projects, and it was like a little tail going down. This other guy, it was the other way around. It was just, gerrymandering's been around for as long as anybody can remember, probably from the beginning. So, but a state can do whatever a state wants to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that's what's happening.
McClanahan brings that up. Hey, you know what a state can also do? It can take out the presidency. It can eliminate the Supreme Court. It can eliminate the District of Columbia. It can eliminate all that stuff, and no one thinks about that at the right level.
But in a way, democratic states do when they nullify federal drug laws, when they nullify federal immigration laws. They just don't call it nullification. They just do it.
It's Calhounian thing. Calhoun brought up something that federalism is only good for people, not only good, people only in power or on the other or without power actually all embrace it at that time, but they have no principle for it. And they do it when they're in the box in the back. Oh, we'll embrace federalism now. You're either all in or you're not at all. You want communism? Say you want communism. But if you don't want federalism, you got to be able to say, okay, that's Minnesota. Doing the weird law with the part of the post-birth abortion, whatever they came up with the other day. I'm going, hey, where's the people in Minnesota? I know there's people in Minnesota that are Catholics. Get off your keisters, run for office. New York City, there's some gay veteran that's running in Long Island. Anybody Catholic in Long Island? If there is, maybe you should stop tweeting about it and get in the game or something. Wherever you are, if you're complaining more and not doing something about it, there's a lady running. I'm going to have an interview with her this week that's running for a school district, school council seat in Northern Virginia. And people are like, why do you care about school? Well, guess what they're doing? If the communists are part of running in the school districts, they get to tell what the kids are doing. They're going to push their agenda. Well, if we don't, Catholics want to homeschool. You don't have to go to public school, but you can get in the school board and help get the right stuff taught so those heads of mush don't get indoctrinated by the weird stuff.
Yeah, Tina, there's also Taylor was going for the big seat. He was going for the White House. Now,
I don't hate on Taylor, but that was the stupidest thing that anybody could have done at the time. Now, he wanted to do something. He should have ran for Texas. Got in a state house seat, got local, maybe try governor tour. That was idiotic to do what that was. That was just a PR stuff. And if Taylor wants to get mad at me for saying that, fine. No one else wants to say it, but hey, I don't hate the guy. That's what it was. There's no clue about what's going on up there. Should have ran for the state local. That's where you get power out of it. You're not. Yeah, you got to have people up there. You have to have somebody pulling the strings. Appointed. Trump was selected. It wasn't elected. He was selected. Brandon was selected. Obama's. Nobody gets in outside the game on that. You have to be involved in that thing. It's a waste of a thought to do that. If you're serious, you get in local, you get into city, county, or state to make some change. If you're not serious, you get your name up there, you get name recognition. That's all. That's what people do anyways. They run for president knowing they're going to lose, and then they get the name recognition afterwards.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say, Tina, is that here in the U.S., because she's from down, she's coming to us internationally. There's so many seats you can run for. You can run for your town council, your state house. Steve lost by like 70 votes for his. Right? It was
$0 and had one interview.
Yeah, so you can do it. You can do, like, if you want to go for the big top seat like Marshall was going, yeah, you're going to have to be tapped by somebody. But even governor or, U.S. House of Representatives, you can get in on those with the right campaign and the right momentum. So he is true that you need to be tapped, but at the same time, as Steve stated, there's plenty of other seats that are available where you can go to.
Yeah, you want to make a real difference, come state. You're president of your country, the state.
Yeah, the governor is going to be definitely something.
You could change up everything. You have all the power. We talk about this all the time. You have all that power. You can do whatever you want as a governor. You don't have any power as president. And that's the thing most people don't have a clue on. They just think that all the presidents are like the monarch or like the emperor because we act like that. If you're really the president, you have no power. You have few things. You get war and trade, and that's pretty much it. That's no power. We act like they have all this power. No. I mean, the federal government only has 18 enumerated powers as it is. But a governor, man, you could become. Imagine standing up to Trump when you have a spine right now as a Republican.
Yeah, that's the thing with look at DeSantis. I think Steve just said it. Steve DeSantis is the model, right? He is the model for what you should be as a governor. We're not doing that. Yeah, we shut the state down for like 5 days. Then I realized it was stupid. Open it up. Or we're going to eliminate property taxes. I'm going to push for that. I think we should eliminate property taxes in the state. You are the chief executive because the union is supposed to be comprised of 50 independent states. And we use state when we use the word state of Israel, and that's a country. But yet when we use the state of New York, I'm stealing Steve's example, use the state of New York, that's suddenly part of the blob of America. Like it's the talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're the governor of the state of Idaho. You are the governor of the independent, essentially the Union of Idaho, and
the commander in chief of the military of Idaho.
Yep. So, you
want to make Georgia or state, Texas, whatever your state, a Christian country. It happened 1861. Georgia declared itself a Christian nation. You can declare yourself a Christian nation as governor. You can ban all illegals as governor. You can ban porn. You could ban abortion. You can ban gay marriage. You can ban everything like that as governor.
Yep. I mean, even little things like in Oklahoma, I know stilts, I think is stilts. Think whatever you will, but he put the 10 Commandments back in school. So, I mean, just stuff like that. You can't do that. Yeah. You know what? They did it in Oklahoma. They signed it through, and then there you go. The governor of Missouri, he's a pretty strong, Republican conservative governor as well. There are examples. Kristi Noem, whatever we think of her in her position now, she was a halfway decent governor of South Dakota. So that's really, and the thing is, as Steve has said correctly, Fox News and MSNBC, they've conditioned the public and a terrible education system. I was a former social studies teacher. Terrible education system that only talks about, we talk about all 47 POTUSes. We don't talk about the governors of our state. Now, Texas has something. We have Texas history that we teach. I think it's like 8th grade. But most of the people that are teaches Texas history are not Texans like myself. So we don't really get into it as much as we should. But, as far as political stuff, like if this, the China virus, the chimichanga virus that's coming out, let's say it comes out to here and they start the lockdown again. DeSantis can easily be like, yeah, we're not locking down, or like Abbott, especially the ones that are running for re-election. You're going to see them be like, yeah, we're not going to lock down. We're not going to force vet jabs or any of that kind of stuff because we don't have to. I
mean, DeSantis come down saying we're not going to do CBDC. You want to get on? There's states that have gone back on the gold standard. They could come up with their own money, tell the Fed to go pound sand, and have their own trading system, own monetary system in Oklahoma, in Texas, in Alabama, wherever it is. They want to ban stuff in the sky, geoengineering like the Sam's doing. They can do it. Again, you want to make a difference? Think locally. You just want to make some tweets and get some reshares. Think DC, like Bannon. It's a worthless thing. He's just giving that. He's doing that for his name recognition. There's no other purpose. He ain't got a chance, and God knows what to get in. But he's going to have the name recognition, raise a ton of money, and get a book deal out of it.
Yeah, and it'll just for somebody like Bannon, a media guy, it will bring more eyeballs to his war room show. That's what it'll do. Just like with Dan Bongino. Everything Dan Bongino's doing when he leaves and everybody made a big deal, he'll go back to his show and he'll have more eyes on his show than he did before.
I agree. We're going to run for president. We're declaring a run for presidency for 2028. We'll start up everything, get the donations coming in, and that's all it's going to be. What would you say if someone say, "Well, Steve's running for," it'd be a joke.
yeah. I mean,
at least I can give an argument on things that a presidency can do. At least, but still, it'd be a joke. It'd just be that. No one have zero chance of doing it. Ron Paul had no chance, and he was the best candidate in the last 40 years.
Yeah, the golden rule. Remember that. This is Tina. If you can find this, there was a time. I think it was the debate in South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach. When he talked about the golden rule, he almost got booed out of the auditorium when he was talking about the golden rule. Mitt Romney and all these guys were like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "What about the golden rule?" Boo. He turned into that. He was like, "Why are you laughing at me? I know what makes you cheer."
Yep.
Yes, news from the Pew will be mandated.
Well, if I was president, you know what I'd be doing? I'd be sticking to exactly what the Constitution allows me to do. I probably, they say about everyone gets upset about Obama or Trump playing golf. I want him to play golf. Play as much golf as you want. Keeps you out from doing anything that you're not supposed to be doing in the first place. The problem is you're in that temptation to be, well, I got to do something. I'm here. No, you don't have to do anything. You're just there for the little times when you're needed. You're not the governor. You're not the daddy. You're not in charge of 320 million people. You're the executive of the 50 other governors. There are 50 governors, 50 other executives. You're the one in charge of the CEO of those guys. And in truth, you're not even the CEO of that. They have more power than you. You're just the guy for the overseas stuff. And if there's any interstate squabs, you're the guy, the third party that gets in between when Alabama's upset at Mississippi. All right, let's get a third party guy involved in this. So yeah, you wouldn't see me doing much of anything. You wouldn't be seeing the first 100 days. People are like, the guy ain't done anything. So, like, what can I do? Can't do any of this. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is in that regard. So yeah. So that's our default segment here on News from the Pew. We talk about local politics.
We have a little off the tracks on things.
Yeah. There's supposedly a new China virus. It's been around forever.
In China, prompts the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, to issue a travel warning. More than 7,000 cases of this disease have been reported so far. State Department correspondent Jillian Turner has details tonight, live from the State Department. Good evening, Jillian.
Good evening, Brett. The CDC.
I was just getting done. I didn't want to hear about the CDC. It's supposedly carried by mosquitoes.
Can we do us all a favor? There's 5 gazillion people in China. We're not getting worried about 7,000 of them. That's a rounding error. And none of them died. They just have like pain in their joints.
They're hosing them down with bug spray and doing all kinds of stuff with them.
Just miss me with all of this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this all again. So just get out of here with your chimichanga virus. I don't even need it. Now I want Mexican food. That's all that story does for me. People are going to freak out about it. Don't freak out about it. There's nothing there. It's been around forever. It's just something people do. Oh, you don't have a vaccine for it. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Take more vitamin D. Have fun. More vitamin D and zinc. But I think that kind of rounds out. Do we have anything else that we need to speed run through?
Nah.
It's so much fun now that Steve does his show every day because he's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
No, we've already gone over an hour and a half. So
all right. So for my cry room, the next governor of South Carolina, Nancy Mace, with her cringeworthy press conference today, saying she's the most serious person there is, which if you have to tell people you're serious, you're not. And then the cringeworthy her trying to capitalize on Sydney Sweeney with her Great Jeans ad, which backfired tremendously. It's like, you're a 43-year-old woman. Stop acting like you're 21. Nobody believes it. So she is in my cry room, deservedly so. If you guys elect her, you deserve every bit of it. So Steve is convinced that she's not going to win. I think he may owe me a Walmart steak. That's all I'm saying. We may have a Walmart steak on this one. And for my saint of the week, all seriousness, Mitchell Davis on X sent me a message. I need help from Catholic Twitter. His grandson was born on Friday. Yesterday, he was hospitalized at Children's Hospital. He's been baptized and received confirmation. An update today. His grandson went from near complete organ failure when he arrived at the hospital to being in stable condition. They're close to ruling out cancer, and their leading hypothesis would mean survival. However, fear possible brain damage. So Mitchell Davis's precious grandson is my saint of the week. Everybody remember Mitchell Davis's grandson in your prayers. Pray for him, pray for a speedy recovery, and hope for the best situation in that. We're praying for your grandson, Mitchell, and all the best, and we hope for a good outcome on that.
Yeah, Walmart sells steak. That's all.
Walmart sells everything. Walmart sells everything. So it's
my crime room. I'm going to go with JD Vance this time because he decided to raise. They have to raise the water in a river outside Cincinnati so they could canoe on it for his birthday.
I mean,
it's good to be.
What's the good of being Peter Thiel's errand boy if you can't, spend the power a little bit?
Exactly. My saint of the week, I'm going to go with Pete, Mr. Talking Head, Fox News. I know I blast him all the time. The sun shines on the dogs, every so often.
Yeah.
He comes out saying that we're bringing back the Arlington National Cemetery. Hezek announced the return of Confederate Memorial to Arlington National Cemetery, removed by, quote, woke lemmings. So glad that has happened. If you don't know much about it, check out Brian McClanahan's lectures on the monument. I think he was a Jew, the Jewish guy that put the monument together, built it, and it was supposed to be for reconciliation. I mean, it's a beautiful monument. Mm-hmm. It's not a hateful thing at all or anything like that. It's very touching, but we had the wokeism of 2023, and that had to go with everything else. But finally, they brought it back after missing out on Bragg and other things like that. They got one right.
Yep. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, I just feel like it's my duty every time, and I'm not throwing shade at Steve. There was something in the NDAA in 2022 or 2021 that you actually cannot rename. You can't name military. I know this is for everybody, not for Steve. Why are they doing it? Because there's actually a federal law that you can't name a military base after a Confederate general. So yeah, Fort Hood is now Fort Hood. It's not Cavazos. Nobody ever called it Cavazos, by the way, but it's named after a different hood. But in 20 years, nobody's going to know that. They're just going to think of the first guy. So, I mean, that's kind of the point. Not throwing shade at Steve, just a little, I'm going to, what am I? Community noting. Community noting Steve. Yes. All right, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on News from the Pew. Please like, subscribe, and share the News from the Pew. If you'd like to support my show, you can go to Rickcast. Just type in Rickcast. If you like my movie reviews, Rickcast Reviews. I have a review coming out on the movie Weapons. I just saw today. It's an okay horror movie. It'll drop Saturday at 10. My show Rickcast is every night, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. You want to support Steve? The best way to do is go to censusvidelium.tv and download his Census Videlium app. Download the app, get it on your phone. It's the best way to make sure that when YouTube takes down one of his videos, they can't take it down on his app. So make sure you go there, download the app, help support Steve and his work by doing that as well. Anything else you want to add, Steve?
No, I'll do it. Yeah, that's good. I appreciate it. Yes.
Well, I got to do something right. Anyway, God bless everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and Viva